welcome back to my channel. I'm Alex. Today I'm doing something different. I am doing an all one brand tutorial and I'm doing a summer wedding look. I feel like so many people ask me what to do for weddings. This is not only amazing for a bride, but if you are a guest at a wedding, sort of giving away a little bit of my tips and tricks that I do use on my clients that are brides. So stay tuned for that. And if you want to see how I got this Charlotte Tilbury wedding look, then please keep watching. Thank you. Okay, so let's just hope the light works with me. Fuck, I have had the morning from hell. I was on my way to a client's, my whole case dropped down the stairs. Such a nightmare, everything was everywhere. There's nothing like being in a rush to get to a client at 6 in the morning and your whole kit gets splattered everywhere. So I'm back, I'm done, everything's fine, and I'm excited to film and just sit and relax and just kind of talk it out. I am doing a bridal look using only Charlotte Tilbury products. I have been waiting to do a look just using one product, or I mean one company, so here's my chance. I'm going to go into Charlotte's Magic Cream and I'm just going to start prepping my skin. It's empty. Can you see how little is left in there? It's been through the trenches with me. So I'm just warming up the product in my hand and I'm going to just lather it onto my face. For wedding days and brides, you want them to be super, super hydrated so that the makeup just goes onto their skin very nice and smooth. And you want them to look hydrated, you don't want anything sitting in any fine lines and dry skin. So super important to hydrate. I am also going to prep my skin using my Magic Eye Rescue by Charlotte Tilbury. I like to take a little in my middle finger. Again, I like to warm it up. I like to warm up really any creams that I use. Just find that they go into the skin so much easier. And then I just tap very lightly. I actually heard you're supposed to use your ring finger because you're the most delicate with this finger, but whatever gets the job done. Just don't rub under your eye because you will cause wrinkles later on in life. Now my face feels nice and hydrated and fresh and ready to begin. I'm already gonna have to cheat. I wanted to show you guys how I'm gonna fill in my brows. I am going into my Brow Wiz. Is this pencil by ANASTASIA Beverly Hills. It's the one with the really fine point instead of the one that I normally use. I want my brows to be very precise. I think brows really shape the face and it's always where I begin no matter what I do, especially when I'm doing a bride. So I'm gonna tilt my head up and I am gonna see really where my hairs actually end in the light, and I'm just gonna I'm hardly touching, very, very lightly, just gonna draw the shape of the brow. And this is gonna help me outline the rest of the brow. So super simple. And then I like to match it up to the other side. So if I tilt my head back, I see where I drew the line. I see where it's directly across. And no one's brows are perfectly, whoopsies. No one's brows are perfectly symmetrical, so this is sort of going to fake that symmetry. So now I'm gonna start not all the way in, obviously, because I don't want that part to be totally covered in, and I'm just gonna lightly go again along the top line of my brow, but keeping it sort of thin. I don't want a very thick, unnatural brow, especially for your wedding day. It's just one of those days where you want to look back on pictures and to be happy with everything. You don't want to be what the fuck was I thinking? So to all those ladies that ask me for red lips, but I mean, very lightly just mimicking brow hairs and brushing up in the front area very lightly. I'm going to very lightly just brush up, especially a lot right in the front. And then the rest I'm just sort of gonna blend together with the spoolie. Making sure all the lines are blended in with the hairs. Okay, so my brows are filled in. Let's start with the eyes. Obviously never want any fallout the day of your wedding. I'm gonna go into the Magic Foundation by Charlotte Tilbury. This is in Fair 4. Take a concealer brush and I'm just gonna start placing this all over my lid. And I'm also gonna use this to clean up underneath the brow. Carve out that brow. I'm just going to press that in with my damp beauty blender to make sure that it is all nice and set. Oh, I need that sun to go away again. So of course you want to set any creams you put down on your face. I'm going in on my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder in shade 1, and I'm just going to set this all. So to prep my eye, I'm going to go into her cream pots. This is in shade Jean. Pick this up on just like a little synthetic Morphe brush. This is an M506 brush. Just going to place this all over the lid, a little on the inner corner. And this is going to be sort of the base for my eye look. And I'm thinking of doing something a little bit summery, like a summer wedding look. I mean, most of my brides sort of ask for the same thing, but it's always fun to like switch it up for each season. So I'm gonna bring this all the way up under my brow bone just to highlight. So it's covering the whole lid. And this color is so pretty and just like champagne-y and subtle, and it's a perfect base for any wedding look. Start to add in some definition and some depth using a different pot. This is the Marie Antoinette. It's just a beautiful like taupey, not gold, it's not silver, just such a beautiful in between. And I'm going in on the same brush. Start to place this right onto the outer corner, keeping it below the crease. I like really taking my time when it comes to wedding makeup. I find it so just like calming and relaxing, and I think you should be pampered the day of your wedding, and it should take a long time. I would say probably spend about an hour per bride when I am doing weddings. I honestly could take longer if I had the time, but usually I'm on a bit of a time limit. Start bringing some depth into my crease. I am going into my Film Star Bronze and Glow and picking it up on just a nice fluffy brush, tapping off the excess, and I'm just gonna start bringing this into the crease. I like using whatever bronzer I'm gonna use on the bride in the crease. It just sort of brings everything together and just makes a more seamless look. Don't worry if anything's like messy along the edges. This is why we're starting with our eyes. Going in on this crease blending brush, and I'm gonna go into, I'm using a couple of the quads today. This is the Golden Goddess quad, and I'm gonna go in to the smoke shade right here, which is this like goldeny brownie color. I'm just gonna start pressing that onto lash line and the outer V to deepen up that outer corner, but I don't want it to be too deep. And at least for me, I think wedding makeup should be very soft and very light and sort of like angelic. You know, you want to look like an angel on the day of your wedding and a princess, and I just think this is the most flattering on everyone. So to sort of enhance the lid even more, I always like a sparkle. I'm a sparkle kind of gal. This step is totally not necessary, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going into the Vintage Vamp Luxury Palette, and I'm going to pick up the Pop shade right here. And it's just like a beautiful gold sparkle. And it's nothing crazy. It's very subtle. And I always find that I get the best payoff when I pick it up with my finger. And then I just like to run it right on top of the lid. And it doesn't read as like gold when you put it on your lid. It just reads as this like very iridescent, pretty sparkle. And it's very subtle. Do you see that sparkle? Go into the Rock and Cool Charlotte Tilbury pencil, and this is in Barbarella Brown. I'm going to start pressing this into my lash line. Not one for like a wing the day of a wedding. I think everything should be soft and smoked out, very neutral. I like using a dark brown for my brides because I find that if I use black, it's a little bit harsh. I'm just going to deepen up the lash line. So I like to go in to just like a little brush. This is my Morphe brush. I use it all the time. My M213 brush. And I'm just going to start to sort of smoke out those edges. Just running right over the line. It's just going to soften that line and sort of just blur it in to make it look super natural. And then if you want to like enhance that even further, you could go in, this is the Dolce Vita quad. I'm going into the smoke shade here, just like the darkest brown Charlotte Tilbury color I have. And I'm just gonna run this along the top of that line to sort of enhance that even more. I'm just really doing this on the outer half of my eye. I'm going to pop some of the highlight shade underneath my brow bone just to finish off this. And because I put that cream there before, it's going to really enhance the powder highlight that I'm putting on top, which is nice. And I'm just doing this right under the arch. Like always, I'm going to clean up underneath my eye. I love these products, but they definitely have a lot of fallout, which is why we start with the eyes. So I'm not bringing it all the way to the lash line, but I just want that nice and cleaned up. Lids are done. I always like to curl my lashes. I'm just going in on my eyelash curler. So I did a nice coat of mascara just on my top lashes. I use my L'Oreal Telescopic. Some people like to use a waterproof mascara for the day of their wedding. I personally have had no problems and I am a crier. So I just stick to what I know and what I like. Use whatever you are comfortable with. I definitely recommend testing out mascaras before the day of your wedding. If you are doing your own makeup, try like making yourself cry and see if it runs, but I've had no problems with this one. So let me know if it works for you. So now I like to just finish the entire eyelid and eye area. I'm gonna go in on my Ardell individual lashes. Getting your makeup done the day of your wedding, your makeup artist should 100% be using individual lashes. Having a strip is not only uncomfortable for an entire evening, but they also, if you do cry, they will come off in one just swoosh because it will make the glue no longer tacky, and you don't want that happening to you the day of your wedding. I'm just picking up some of the shorts and I'm going to start placing them into my lashes. I never show you guys how I do this, so I'm going to today. I like to start placing one sort of on the outer corner. I put them on with tweezers on myself. On other people, I can do it very fast with my hands, but doing them on yourself is definitely more time consuming and challenging. So if you are doing your own makeup, and no matter what lashes you're wearing, definitely practice before the day of, because they're not easy. I just put a little dollop of glue at the ends, and you sort of just lay it on top of your lash and just let it connect. I'm carrying these all the way pretty much into the inner corner of my eye. Now the shorts are on and I am done with them. I'm going to add in some, oh, I'm dropping everything. I'm going to add in some medium lengths as well. Some brides I'll use my mediums as my shorts and then the shorts just on the inner corner. But because I'm doing it on myself, it just never like looks as good. I'm going to do about 3 mediums on each side just to add in a little bit of length. I like to put these not totally in the outer corner. I like to just sort of lightly disperse them throughout the lash, and it makes my eyes just like really open up. So my lashes are done. That is like the hardest part of the entire situation. I definitely recommend though using individuals. I promise they are so much more comfortable and it is so worth it. So I'm going to start with my face. I don't have any Charlotte Tilbury mattifying primers, so I'm not going to use one today. But if you are getting married and you are doing your own makeup, I definitely recommend using something mattifying. Even if you have drier skin, you are in this makeup literally from like 10 in the morning until like 2 in the morning if it's an early night, and you want it to look good all day. Those natural oils are going to come through no matter what you do. So definitely use a mattifying primer. I promise you won't look like so matte. You'll still look dewy at the end of the day, but it will like help preserve your makeup. For today, since I'm doing all Charlotte Tilbury, I'm going to go into my Flawless filter, my Hollywood Flawless filter. This is in number 2. I'm just going to start putting this sort of in the high points of my face. I'm going to blend that in with my hands. I love this stuff. I literally could go out right now and my skin looks nice and fresh and dewy. So I don't have my color right now, so I'm going to make a baby between these two. This is the 4 and this is 5. I'm just going to mix these 2 fair shades. I like just using what's on my finger and just plopping it on my cheek before I start dipping this into the foundations on the back of my hand, just so that I do not waste any product. Make sure you get your ears, especially if you're wearing your hair up. You want to make sure your ears are done. You want to make sure your neck is done. I like didn't put in my big earrings because I'll put them in at the end when it's all done. I'm going to go in to my concealer. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Retoucher in shade 2. I feel like I run out of these things so fast. I love this product on my clients. It's perfect if you're going for like a natural look, and usually Charlotte Tilbury is pretty natural. So this is really nice. This is when I like do any spot concealing. Don't get me wrong, like when I go to do people's makeup for the day of their wedding, I am not restricted to a brand. There are so many different brands and so many different products that I use, and I've come up with what I think is a very beautiful formula with all my different products, and sort of just like have my thing with my brides. And I just like know what I'm doing and with what products I'm doing it. But for today, I definitely think that if you are going to use all one brand, Charlotte Tilbury is a perfect brand to use. I'm going to go in and contour and highlight. I'm going to use their contour wand and their highlight wand. I'm going to start with the contour wand. This is in the fair to medium. Oh my God. This packaging, I'm sorry, it's terrible. Like, look at, it's just like explodes everywhere and it's a nightmare. So I'm going to go back in on my concealer and I'm going to contour with this instead so that I can control how much product and where it's going. So I'm going to put this in the hollows of my cheek. I'm going to do my nose with it, and a little goes a long way with this product. But the tube is just like too thick, especially for like a nose contour. You can't do it. I'm going to do it around the perimeter of my forehead, along my jawline, a little under my lip. I'm just going to buff this in with a Real Techniques foundation brush. It is a really natural contour when it's blended in. I know it looks dark to begin with, but it sort of just like becomes like one with your skin. And blend this in with my finger. It just kind of gives me more control, and I can just pat it into the skin and highlight. And I'm just gonna do this really on like this part of my face, a little bit on my nose, on the tip, and a little bit in between my forehead. And that's the only place I'm going to put the cream contour, because I don't want this to be overwhelming at all. And to me, on the day of a wedding, obviously I want the bride to look absolutely perfect in person, but I also really care how it photographs, because that's really what you're looking back on through the night, and how it photographs is super important. So you have to think about that when you're choosing all your products. Like, you don't want to do anything that's going to have a lot of flashback or just maybe not photograph too well. So you never want to be too highlighted. Keep in mind, you have people coming up to you all night asking to take pictures, and you want to look good in every single picture that's taken of you, in my opinion. I'm going to go in on my Charlotte Tilbury powder, back into it, and I'm going to set under the eye especially. And this will just like help the longevity of your makeup. And I do it pretty much in all over my T-zone, underneath the contour. I really like to just set my whole face in powder. Bathe in the powder. I'm going to go back into the Bronzing Glow, into this contour brush right here. This is Morphe M530. Pick up the bronzer shade, tap it off, because it's really pigmented. And I'm just going to put this like right in the hollows, like just here. Like, I'm not bringing it too far forward. I'm just keeping it right here, most of the product. And now that my brush is sort of been cleaned off, I'm just now carrying it down, so that when you look at me, like right here is like a super chiseled but like natural looking contour. And I'm going to do this around the perimeter of my face, tip of my nose. I'm not going to add anything else to my jawline, just because I don't want it to be too harsh, but I am just going to sort of carry this down the sides of my nose just a tiny bit. I'm actually going to take my Charlotte Tilbury powder and sculpt brush, and I'm going to highlight. I'm going to go into this highlight shade right here. It is so pretty and just like soft, and it's not too gold, it's not pink, it's just such a good neutral color. And I'm just going to highlight those cheekbones just on top of where I put the cream contour, just above my brow bone, the center of my nose. I don't want like a very distinct contoured nose. I want it to, again, I want everything just to be soft and feminine and just glowy. You just want to look like a soft angel. I'm just going to blush my face. There's nothing like a blushing bride. And I am going to use this Cheek to Chic Swish and Pop blusher in First Love. I just think this color is so pretty and just very subtle, and I'm just putting this right on the apples of my cheek. It's not like too much of any color. I find it very angelic. I'm going to go into this eye pencil. This is the classic eye pencil, just like a really pretty brown. It has a little bit of a sparkle in it, and I'm just going to line really close to my lower lash line. I'm not tight lining it or anything. I'm just running it right under. And I'm not bringing it all the way in under my eye. I'm bringing it about 2/3 of the way into my inner eye. Sorry if I'm gonna take like a little pencil brush, and I'm gonna go back into the sculpt powder and just sort of blend that out. So many of my clients will be like, I look like a raccoon when I have under eye shadow or anything under my eyes. You guys are wrong. I eventually convinced everyone to let me try it. It actually makes everyone's eyes just like really open up and give them such a nice open shape. It's really flattering in pictures. It makes it like a little bit, you know, sultry and sexy at the same time, which I really like. I mean, after all, you want that guy at the end of the aisle, or that gal or guy at the end of the aisle, you know, being like, damn. To open up my eyes even further, I'm gonna go in with the Rock and Kohl, but this is in Iconic, oh my god, this is the Eye Cheat Rock and Kohl. It's in like a nudie color. Why isn't this opening? It's really creamy, this consistency. It's the same one that I used on my lid, just in that light nude color. I'm just putting this right into my waterline. And it's just gonna really open up my lid, my eyes, my lid. I do a coat of bottom mascara, the highlight color into the inner corner to accentuate the jean color that we put down, which was like the first step. I line my lips with the Pillow Talk lip liner. And this is just like, you guys know, one of my ride or dies. Just such a perfect nude color. I'm gonna go in to my Hollywood lips. I just got this color. It's in Platinum Blonde. It's a really pretty like nudie pink. I think it's similar to like a Penelope Pink lipstick, but I really like the consistency of these liquid lipsticks. And I find that they last a bit longer. I'm just going to top it off with a bit of Seduction, which is lip gloss. So Charlotte Tilbury does not have a setting spray, unfortunately, so I'm just going to use what I like to use on my brides. I'll use the MAC Fix Plus, obviously, but at the end, I always do a coat of the Cover FX Illuminating Setting Spray. It's just so relaxing and fresh, and I want my brides to feel totally pampered and totally relaxed, and I've yet to have a crazy bride, so I'm gonna thank this for that. Anyways, I am gonna go put on my faux white dress and some earrings, and I will be right back. Okay, so I am semi-dressed. I have this like white pretty dress that I wore to a white party in Miami for one of my friend's weddings, and my hair is up. I added some earrings just so you guys could sort of see the final look. The day of my bride's weddings, I always use a Supermodel Body by Charlotte Tilbury. I just put it all over their chest and their arms, basically anywhere that's showing. I also have this amazing Tom Ford spray that I like to spray all over their body, just so their like whole body is glistening. I think your wedding day should be one of the most special days of your whole life. You should feel just so pampered, and there should be no detail left out, and as a makeup artist, that is my job. I really like this look. I love Charlotte Tilbury products. I don't understand any haters. There's like really nothing to hate. Like my skin just looks so nice. It just looks so flawless. And so effortless. I think that's really the key for what I'm going for. It's just an effortless, beautiful, angelic look. I think that's really all anyone can ask for the day of their wedding. I hope you guys liked this video. Let me know if you want me to do any more videos using only one brand. Charlotte Tilbury's an easy brand to use because, as you can see, I own so much of it already. So let me know if there's any brands you'd like reviews on or like a full tutorial on. And if there's any other wedding looks that you would like to see, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.